Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the Journeyman Sports Podcast. Coming at you guys, I'm recording this late in the evening. Just got done watching the Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight. Wanted to come and talk about it, um, give my reactions and kind of what I think could be next for both guys, and quick little overview of the fight. So, yeah, it was a good fight. I thought Jake looked a lot better in this fight than he did in his last fight against Tommy Fury. There were some things I was looking for Jake Paul specifically going into this fight, and the 10 rounds was a big question mark, and that was one he definitely checked for me. I was expecting him to gas out in the last 3 rounds of the fight, and then just kind of look more so to survive than actually to stay on the offensive, continue to move around the ring. But he looked good. The gas tank, he made it through the fight, was still throwing, was still being very active. And that was a big, big sign to me of improvement. I thought his ability to stick to his game plan, try and stick with the jab, continue to move around the ring, try and keep some distance from Nate Diaz, because I think that was Nate Diaz's plan going into this, was to try and tie up, make it messy, make it just a not very clean fight. We know Jake clearly had the experience going into this, and that was something I thought Jake showed through and through tonight. He looked like the better fighter, established the jab, hit more quality shots, more power shots, and I thought Jake showed tonight that he's made a lot of improvement since his L to Tommy Fury at the beginning of the year. And then Jake Paul, he never chased the knockout. If you've watched MMA, if you know anything about Nate Diaz, he's just a junkyard dog. He's got the biggest gas tank in the world. And he's not a guy you can knock down, really make uncomfortable or anything like that. And we saw in the first, Jake Paul came out very, very strong. He was firing on all cylinders, hitting Nate Diaz with a lot of big shots. And he stayed back and relaxed afterwards. He didn't exhaust everything in his ability to try and chase the knockout. It did go all 10 rounds. And even when Jake Paul did knock him down in the fifth, he did stay on the offensive for a little bit. When he realized that Diaz wasn't very affected, he did back off, kept going with the jab, continued to move, and use the whole ring to his advantage. And yeah, I thought Jake Paul looked very, very good tonight. And he talked in the post-fight interview about wanting to give Nate Diaz a fight again in MMA, which I think would be idiotic for Jake Paul to do. Any one of the Paul brothers is going to do it. It should be Logan. But I think Jake should definitely try and chase down the rematch with Tommy Fury, which we'll see what happens. We know Tommy Fury will be fighting KSI on October 14th, I believe, which will be a very interesting fight. I think that's going to, I mean, August 6th now. There's definitely a lot of time in between this fight and that one. Don't know exactly what Jake Paul will want to do in between. But I think the Tommy Fury rematch is something that could be on the table. And then I think Jake should look to fight another pro boxer if it is not Tommy Fury. I think Jake Paul needs to remove himself from the MMA scene, so to speak. He's 5-0 against those guys. He's proven that he can beat them. And I think Jake needs to keep refining his skills by fighting the pro boxers. These MMA guys, I think a lot of them want to try and get on the inside, like I said with Nate Diaz. Wrap up, try and do all the things to keep fight a lot closer physically and not let Jake use his boxing skills to his advantage. So I think Jake is in an interesting spot. I really think his next fight should be against a pro boxer. I think, like I just said, remove yourself from the MMA, keep refining your skills, and keep trying to move up the ladder that way if he really does want to try and chase a belt or anything like that. he's got to start fighting pro boxers from here on out. I think he's proven everything he needs to on a baseline standard. Now it's time to evolve and continue to move up that ladder. But Jake Paul did win tonight, unanimous decision. Fight did go the distance with a knockdown of Nate Diaz in the 5th. Great fight, great card as well. A lot of good fights. Yeah, just a good night for boxing again. Be interesting to see what the pay-per-view numbers were and how much everyone's going to end up getting paid, because Jake Paul does seem to be the cash cow of boxing right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Garrett, just one half of the show, and we will see you guys next time.